When it comes to inflammatory bowel disease like Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, IBS, diverticulitis, food is only half the equation to healing. If you're eating perfectly and you're like, I'm still having all these symptoms, food isn't helping, that's because that's only half the battle. You need to do the other half of the work to get better. Now, what is that other half? Let's talk about it. I'm Dr. Kristen. I teach women how to heal Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, IBS, and other forms of inflammatory bowel disease naturally without medication inside my program Rooted, part of MedFree PharmD. Now let's get to it. All right, so food is only half the equation. Now, if you're eating so healthy, you're like, I still have all these symptoms. Well, you've only done half the equation. There's the physical side of healing and there's the mental side. Now let's talk about what those are. The physical side is about rebuilding the intestinal wall. You have your mucus layer, you have your epithelial layer, you have your immune and connective tissues. So your mucus layer protects against microbes. Your epithelial layer is made of tightly connected cells that form your gut barrier, and the immune and connective tissues are the structural support and the defense system. When these layers are damaged, your gut becomes hyperpermeable. Toxins and bacteria slip through and your immune system goes into overdrive, which is not what we want. So when we have, look at this little graphic, I couldn't draw this. Isn't this perfect for what we're talking about? This is all these little yucky things getting into our body where we don't want them. It's hyperpermeable. You have toxins, you have bacteria, which means you have symptoms and inflammation. We don't want that. So to heal, we have to rebuild these layers. That means we need to remove what is keeping your body inflamed. These hidden stressors that thin the mucus layer, weaken those junctions, and block regeneration. We want happy cells. Isn't this a nice graphic? So perfect. We want to be in repair mode where we rebuild the mucus layer, we regenerate the epithelial cells, and restore the collagen layer so your lining becomes strong again. But we can't enter this healing phase if your body is stuck in fight or flight. What does that have to do with it? That's the other half. Your gut and your brain talk through the vagus nerve. You have the gut-brain connection. Your gut and brain are highly connected, highly connected. Your brain talks to your gut talks to the brain. Even the microbes in your gut talk to your brain. So your brain controls things like your gut controls things like your serotonin, which affect your brain health and your happiness level. And obviously when you get that nervous feeling, like, oh my gosh, I have to go give a speech, or I have to do this scary thing at work, your stomach starts to feel nervous. That's a symptom of the gut-brain connection. Now, when we have tons of cortisol and adrenaline flooding our brain and our gut, we have a thinned lining and we have suppressed digestive enzymes, inflammation, and we have symptoms. We don't want that. We don't want this anger caused by our cortisol, our stress, our trauma. Now, this doesn't only apply to our everyday stressors like, work or kids or whatever it is. It applies to things that happened in our past. Now, for those of you with Crohn's or ulcerative colitis or diverticulitis, you probably remember the first time you had your major flare-up, you saw blood in the toilet, something like that. You went to the hospital for a blockage from diverticulitis. Now, if you have IBS, it might be a little more difficult to pinpoint those things, but if you can remember when your symptoms started, there was likely an event before those symptoms that was somehow traumatic. Now, traumatic doesn't have to mean our traditional sense of traumatic. It can mean something shocking and unexpected to our system that then gets stored in our brainstem. And when that happens, our brainstem stores all 5 senses of that event, and it doesn't process the memory logically, which causes damage in our body in a certain area, and in your case, your gut. So this traumatic memory has triggers from those 5 senses that are stored in the brainstem. So things that you see, things that you hear, smell, taste, touch can trigger that traumatic response, leading to damage in the gut, leading to symptoms, leading to flare-ups. So if we don't process these traumatic events, If we don't deal with our everyday stressors, then we can't heal. Why can't we heal if we don't deal with those? Because our body is stuck in fight or flight. And when we're stuck in fight or flight, we cannot enter a restorative state where our symptoms and our digestive lining and our mucus layer and our motility is able to heal. Our body can't go in and repair the damage that has been done if we're in fight or flight constantly. In order to heal, we need to address those physical aspects of rebuilding the gut lining, getting rid of the damage. But in order to get rid of the damage and heal, we need to handle the mental aspect of everyday stressors and our past stressors that are causing those everyday triggers to continue to cause cortisol and adrenaline spikes in our body. So we need to allow our mental state to get into rest and digest. We need to rebuild the gut lining through the nutrients that it needs to become strong and heal so that we can heal. And a safe body means healed tissues, healed intestinal layers, decreased inflammation, happy intestines, and symptom-free life. That's what we want, right? We want to be symptom-free. You want to put this behind you. You don't want to deal with this for the rest of your life. I didn't. That's why I did this. You don't want to. My clients don't want to. Put it behind you. Heal. This is how we do it. So if you have any questions, check out my website. You can DM me on Instagram, medfreefarmd. If you're interested in my program, Rooted, where I teach women how to heal from the inside out naturally, DM me Rooted. I can tell you more. I wish you gut, love, and peace.